Hi, my marvelous viewers. If you are a huge fan of Transformers, then you must be aware of one of, if not the most dangerous villains of the Transformers Multiverse. And he is, of course, none other than Lord Unicron, aka the Planet Eater, aka the Chaos Bringer. For those who don't know who Unicron is, he is the eternal archenemy of Primus and his beloved Transformers. Whenever the fans of Transformers hear his name, they all recall this same thing: him traveling the universe in his enormous alternate mode, while devouring planets, moons, stars, and any kind of civilizations which happens to be in his path. Literally anything in this universe is insignificant in front of him, and that itself proves how horrifying his presence actually is. We always see him embracing a deep slumber in the Earth's core, awaiting the time when he shall get to break free of the prison he's accustomed to and bring chaos to the entire universe. We see him exist in many realities across the multiverse of Transformers, but even then, his precise origins vary. Yet, regardless of whether he's the last of the Dark Gods or a corrupted progeny of a primeval deity, his goal always remains the same: destruction of the universe. And this is why, whenever we talk about how Unicron is this fearsome entity, we always try to delve deeper into these aspects of the questioning. What exactly makes him nightmarish in nature? I mean, we all strongly believe that Megatron's villainy can never be topped, yet a being like Unicron exists, and that cannot be dismissed. Keeping that in mind, I've decided to bring forth y'all 5 variants of Unicron, and these are definitely not mere entities, not at all. In fact, they are the ones that will make you sleepless for weeks or maybe a few months, who knows. Hi, my name is Ben Bruner, and without further delay, let's start today's video. IDW Unicron from Transformers Unicron. The first ever variant that we are going to talk about is, of course, one of the darkest versions of Unicron that you will ever get to see, at least in the comic books. Yes, I am talking about the variant of Unicron that we get to see in IDW comics. In the world of Transformers in IDW, Unicron is depicted to be born from a dying planet and is one of the oldest beings to exist in the universe. His creator had trained him to stand against the Cybertronians because they were the ones responsible for the destruction of their home planet and also the death of his daughter. Apparently, IDW Publishing's The Transformers Finale remains one of the darkest comic versions of Unicron that you will ever get to read about. And I fear that you will never be able to see Unicron in the same way that you used to anymore after finishing this 6-issue comic book based solely on Unicron's origins and the terror he inflicts on the Transformers and the humanity. Mainly because this limited series not just marks the conclusion of Hasbro's Transformers universe, but also presents a really fearsome picture of Unicron's unrelenting villainy, as he becomes a universe-ending force tied to the finale of IDW's long-running continuity, thanks to the events that we see happening in First Strike. Once he is awakened, we do not see him randomly devouring planets. His arrival, in all sincerity, feels like a judgment day for the entire Hasbro comic universe. Allow me to provide a few examples of how nightmarish everything feels, while you even skim through the pages of this 6-issue series. In the very first issue itself, Unicron appears as this monster planet that devours the planet's home to Shockwave's Regenesis ores, LV-117, Gorlam Prime, Prion, and Velocitron, due to which Cybertron starts to lose its contact with its colony worlds. And if that's not enough, he also mercilessly prepares to feed on Elonia. Even if the Transformers give their best in rendezvousing, they cannot stop Elonia from being consumed by the all-powerful Unicron. By the beginning of the second issue, we then learn that Unicron has devoured 9 of Cybertron's 13 colony worlds. More disturbing is that Mistress of Flame and Dirges are killed in the process, while Unicron successfully consumes Caminus. In the later issues of the book, it is revealed by the dying Omega Supreme, and the RC fills in the blank that Unicron's ancestors are the Antillians, a species which was attacked by Onyx Prime, who had teamed with the Omega Supremes. He emerges from a former Antillian scientist's plan, who created a planet-wide bomb, perhaps to annihilate the Transformer. However, his plan failed, due to which all Antillians, including his own daughter, were destroyed, as it evolved into this planet eater, of course, Unicron. That context itself establishes Unicron as an ever-threatening presence. Besides, events like the planet Prismus being destroyed, Unicron mutating himself into a gargantuan robot, him tearing into Cybertron in the 4th issue, Optimus Prime's tear-jerking sacrifice at the end, etc., make the whole experience with this finale a pretty devastating one. G1 Unicron from the Transformers, the movie. The second terrifying variant of Unicron from our list is none other than the G1 Unicron, a living planet that devours worlds, turns Megatron into a Galvatron, and treats the whole civilization of Transformers as if they're some mere snacks. Having first appeared in Transformers the movie in 1986, G1 Unicron remains the most iconic character from the whole series of Transformers films and shows, for he is the apocalypse itself and not just a villain facing off Optimus Prime. And boy, don't even talk about the kind of scale the horror surrounding this character comes from. In the very beginning of the film itself, this villainous entity is shown devouring the planet Lithone, leaving only one survivor, of course, Kranix. No wonder why all Transformers fear him. They seem very tiny in comparison to this gigantic monster. More interesting is that he becomes the first ever to summon freaking Megatron. He literally recruits the latter while he is mortally wounded to destroy the matrix of leadership by transfiguring and then modifying him into the fearsome Galvatron. Like I mentioned before, delving deeper into G1 Unicron's atrocities. Later on, Unicron is also seen devouring the Cybertron moons, which further establishes the terror factor the film was aiming to induce with this character. And what even adds more to the nightmare-inducing horror is the fact that he's voiced by the talented Orson Welles. It is certainly true that Megatron, especially Galvatron, plays a significant role throughout the film. However, compared to him, Unicron turns out to be the most petrifying, because unlike Galvatron, who seeks global dominion, he'd rather destroy the whole world than become its ruler. Undoubtedly, in almost every universe, Unicron has sought destruction. This really terrifying variant of Unicron has not just appeared in the 1986 film though. In fact, he has made significant appearances in the 3rd season of the Japanese anime too, where he forged a group of freakish beast former servants known as the Blendatrons by engineering their rebirth of Elforka, Raretorica, and Drancron, so that he can steal the Angolmoy capsules from the Maximals and Predacons. Besides, G1 Unicron has also appeared in the Marvel Comics featuring G1 Transformers, be it merely brief appearances or major ones. And of course, his mere presence startles the viewers, thanks to his near omnipotence, cosmic stature, his ability to manipulate other beings, and a big yikes, his immortality. That being said, let us move on to the next topic because I can't wait to talk about this one. Voila! It is none other than Aligned Continuity Unicron, the Living Core. Okay, so the third variant we are going to talk about is none other than Lord Unicron, aka the Planet Eater, who serves as the overarching antagonist for the aligned continuity of Hasbro's Transformers franchise. Voiced by John Noble, this version of Unicron is shown as one of the 2 ancient Cybertronian gods in existence, who seeks to destroy his twin brother Primus and spreads chaos throughout the entire universe. Imagine, a kind of villain whose actions are so vicious in nature that Megatron, of all the Transformers, is prompted to save the Cybertronians from a wave of oppression which is going to engulf them, thanks to the kind of terror Lord Unicron makes happen. For in this side of the tale, he is not the threat to Earth, he is the Earth itself. Allow me to provide the context to this phrase of mine. After a catastrophic battle with Primus and the 13 Primes, Unicron drifted into the space in a state of complete dormancy. As a result, rocks and space dust eventually got accumulated around his body over 1 billion years, due to which the Earth was formed. But the question is, what exactly makes him evil? What makes him so terrifying such that every millisecond of his appearance induces nightmares for the viewers? Perhaps it's the fact that if he ever truly wakes up, humanity doesn't just lose its home. In fact, the whole world beneath our feet shifts into a colossal maw to swallow us whole. And this truth itself makes him hold this narcissistic belief that all life is inferior to him and meaningless. Kind of valid if I am allowed to be really honest, because legends claim that this version of Unicron was the incarnation of a destructive force, and as per the textual evidences, he was one half of the primordial being. Solely this narcissistic belief of his has urged him to become an embodiment of destruction and chaos, due to which he is also known as the Chaos Bringer. Besides, when he stirs, his blood, Dark Energon, bleeds through the Earth's crust and mercilessly reanimates the deceased Cybertronians, who become these really mindless, glowing-eyed forces called Terrorcons, and destroy anything that comes in their way. Destroy, destroy, destroy. That's all he wants to do. His primary goal has always been destruction. His immorality is proven by multiple actions that he has inflicted, including attempts to kill his own twin brother, him devouring multiple planets, torturing Megatron through telepathic powers, and also planning human extinction. And it is, of course, prompted by his belief that all the life is beneath him, which urges him to ravage everything in the universe so that nothing exists except him. And to add more fuel to the fire, it is necessary to recall how he tortured Megatron just for his own entertainment. He possessed the latter and then barred him from the afterlife, taking advantage of his supernatural powers and the fact that the lower beings do exist. This is certainly not what a god does. His actions scream demonic in all capitals. More distressing is that he even tries to devour the Allspark. Yes, the very afterlife that houses the souls of not only those who have been deceased, but also those who are going to be resurged. Arguably or unarguably, I would say this variant of Unicron is the vilest villain in the aligned continuity. Indeed, Starscream, Silas, Arachnid, etc. are formidable villains, but I don't think that they are as ferocious as him. That being said, let's move on to the next variant, the Unicron trilogy variant, the Singularity Black Hole. Our fourth and the second last terrifying variant is indeed the Singularity Black Hole, aka the variant that we get to see in the Unicron trilogy. In this universe too, Unicron is seen despising all life, including his own progeny too, which makes the topic pretty fascinating. He lives inside the Earth's core here too, but what's shocking is that here we get to see the nightmare factor of Unicron in a very different light. During the events of Transformer Cybertron, Unicron's physical body is completely destroyed. But here's the catch. Instead of dying, his collapsing spark rips open an irreversible tear in the fabric of space-time, creating a grand black hole, also known as the Unicron Singularity. And from that, we can easily come to this conclusion. His disembodied consciousness can survive even the loss, let alone partial destruction, of his physical body. What's stranger is that the black hole, aka the massive singularity he creates, can even be felt outside the linear universe. The viewers find an ancient transformer like Vector Prime sensing the destruction, and through that, a chilling sensation emerges among us all. And why would it not? In all sincerity, this aggravates the suspense and sends the viewers, as well as the Transformers, in a never-ending loop of anxiety, as the latter tries to find a solution, before the whole universe gets destroyed and transforms into infinite nothingness, just as Unicron wishes. Fortunately, the Autobots successfully acquire all the 4 cyber planet keys, which are later revealed to be stolen by Galvatron, and then the black hole is finally obliterated thanks to the combined forces of the Transformers. But that still does not elude that we must overlook Unicron's formidability, given that his determination is unrelenting. That being said, let's move on to the final variant that we are going to talk about. Let's go! Unicron-Megatron, the ultimate possession. Now we're finally at the concluding segment of today's video. Interestingly, the last ever variant of Unicron, which we are going to have a chat on, is the ultimate possession of Megatron's body by the mighty Unicron, which happens in this television film called Transformers Prime Beast: Predacons Rising. Indeed, the film starts in an optimistic tone, with all the Transformers celebrating Bumblebee's victory and his being knighted a warrior by Optimus Prime, long after the restoration of Cybertron following Megatron's death. But sadly, that's not the end of the struggle, like both the Transformers and the audience are thinking. While Optimus and Wheeljack plan to find the Allspark, the source of both life and afterlife in Cybertron, somewhere in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, Megatron is resurged, thanks to the machinations of Unicron, and is possessed by the latter's spirit, so that Cybertron can be destroyed forever. And this is where things get pretty terrifying, as we prepare for yet another chaos that the Transformers shall have to deal with throughout this 1-hour-long film. And undeniably, in this film too, Unicron appears pitiless and stronger than ever. He easily defeats Predacon, and even overpowers Skylink and Darksteel during the battle, as he remains in the body of dead Megatron and controls it with all his might. Plus, we see him resurrecting ancient Cybertronians into Terrorcons, as mentioned before in this video, and the resulting battle even brutally wounds Shockwave. And if that's not enough to tell you how Unicron-Megatron appears invincible throughout the film, I don't think you're ready to hear this one. He even defeats Optimus Prime and seemingly claims Allspark. Thankfully, his anti-spark is pulled into the container in the right time, due to which Unicron's evil actions are finally put to a halt. Plus, fortunately, we see Megatron have a change in heart. Sadly, in this film too, we see Optimus Prime sacrificing himself in order to restore the piece of Cybertron. But then again, the film's bittersweet yet hopeful ending serves a parallel to the light at the end of a tunnel as dark as black. And I suppose this is how today's video ends. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed learning about all the 5 terrifying variants of Unicron as much as I did. If you did, here's a humble request from our side. You can drop a like on this video, share it with your friends, hype the video, and also drop your requests in the comments section so that we can cover a topic that you've always loved engaging with. We'd also be glad if you drop your own theories or comment down your favorite variant among the 5. Until then, I, Ben Bruder, promise that I will come back again with yet another marvelous topic. See you later. Bye-bye.